So whether you've been reselling for a while or you've been on this journey for a long time and you're experienced in it, you're obviously here because you want some top tips on what I've experienced. So I've been reselling on the Whatnot platform and as well as eBay for a long time now. Whatnot I've been on for 8 months, and since being on there 8 months I've grown my following to over 2,500 followers and I've sold over 5,000 items. I'll put everything up on the screen for you to check out, but everything's linked in the description if you want to just check out one of our shows. But I'm going to get into 5 top tips that I've discovered along my journey, things that'll hopefully help to improve your shows and get you some profit in return. So let's get into tip 1. Consistency. You have to be consistent. If you want people to follow you and support you on your shows, you have to show up for them regularly. So I'd suggest maybe once a week to start with. If you can do 2 to 3 times a week, that is ideal in my experience. Any more than that, you tend to burn out a little bit and it is hard to get volumes to flip. But consistency is key. You have to show up for people. You have to be ready for your show. Don't just wing it. Sometimes that works if you've got that sort of following. But I've found when you show up for people, they'll show up for you. Now it does take a while for people to come into your shows regularly, but the more you're on, the more they're getting to know you, especially in the early days, the more they'll come back. You'll see familiar faces and you start conversations. Now the algorithm picks things up, so if your chat's moving and you're welcoming people in, everyone who does come in, just give them a little welcome, a little say hi to them. It's good to encourage that, because as the algorithm picks up that the comments are moving, the chat is moving, it'll tend to bump your show up towards the top, especially in the For You channels for people who are into that sort of category. So definitely consistency is key. Tip 2. Scheduling. Always schedule your shows in advance if you can. You can do pop-ups and things like that, but it's good to have a few pop-up shows scheduled. So schedule them for about a month in advance, something like that, and as you need one, bring it forward. But do keep saying to people as they come into your chat to bookmark future shows, especially your pop-ups, as they do move and things like that. But definitely schedule your shows, especially if you regularly sell the same item. Now, as you can see behind me, I do game shows, so DVDs, games, things like that. I also do action figure shows, things like that as well. We are coming into Q4 at the time I'm recording this, so I have got a lot of different items, things that are moving fast paced. But when you're niche down into a specific market, say action figures or things like that, you will get the same regular people coming in, as well as hopefully new buyers. So schedule your shows in advance so people know what's up and coming, and with that, make sure you're consistent in your scheduling. So if you do on a, say Sunday, we do a mass show, which is a £1 start show, and everything I run for £1. Now that show, people who come into that show are expecting £1 starts. If I then start running things at £10, £20, they might be a bit shocked, a bit taken back for that. But they are used to that, so they're used to coming in. Now, on the other hand, we do a Tuesday show. It's a theme show. Now, people who come to that show don't necessarily expect £1 starts, because it can be a theme on a different topic, say DVDs or something like that, or Pop Funkos, which are on the other side, and do comic books and things like that as well. We do many shows. We are quite versatile in that. We've been selling on eBay for quite a long time. We've only been on Whatnot for 8 months, so we're still trialing and testing different things. But we've found that scheduling in advance, I do about a month to 2. Now, you can also do a multi-schedule, so if you book a showing, you can get it to repeat for the next 5 weeks. Now, another tip, bonus tip here, is never delete a show. Always reschedule it or move it if you have to. So if you were scheduling 5 shows in succession, the same show once a week, as we do say on a Sunday, put them in, run them for the 5 weeks. It'd be the same bookmark, the same everything like that, the same thumbnail, everything like that will be the same. But then if for one occasion on one Sunday I can't do it, I will flip that to the end, so at least to keep the bookmarks. It is still a Sunday show, it is a regular one, but I've got that option. So let's get into tip 3. Quality over quantity. So make sure the quality of your items is really good. If there are any flaws on it or anything like that, any little defects, make sure you show them, because there'd be nothing worse than someone you're trying to gain a following from. You send them a package and they realise that it's an error with it and you've not pointed it out. They tend to lose trust in you. So be transparent with what you're selling, but do also sell things at what you're expecting to get for them. On the early days, I wouldn't do £1 starts. I would stay away from it, because you've not really got the people in the room, you've not really got the traction. So there's no real point in sourcing for £1 or $1 if you're in the US. But it equates to the same thing. So if then you sell something for £1 or $1, they take about 35 pence out instantly for processing fees, and that's before any other fees. So you're never going to get $1 back or £1 back for that dollar or pound that you spend. So make sure that your quality is there. You want to bring some nice items and run them at a comfortable price to begin with. As you grow the following, when you're getting 30, 40, 50, up to 100 people in the room, you can tend to lower the price and the room will find the price for you. We've got to that stage now as we've got quite a few followers already through our journey, and we do have regular people coming into the show. So I tend to be a bit relaxed on that. I can do that. But I wouldn't advise it from the start. Run things at what you're comfortable with. Don't aim for massive high profits. Don't expect eBay prices because you're not really going to achieve them on Whatnot. I do source on Whatnot to sell on eBay, which is another little handy bonus tip for you that you can do. If you want higher end items going for a decent price and they are in good condition, it's good to get them on some of the bigger sites like eBay and things like that, where you're going to get more audience for them, more people searching that individual product. When you've got 10, 20 or 30 people in the room, the chance that they will want the exact item that you pull, I was going to get an example, but I've got many behind me, is few and far between. So my point in this one is quality over quantity. Make sure I'd rather have 20 nice items that I'm going to get a decent return on than try and run through 100 items at £1 each and make hardly anything. So definitely quality over quantity. Let's get into tip 4. Giveaways and promotions. There are a few people who don't really like these, but it is a great way to grow a following. Especially in the early days, you have the option of doing giveaways. Now, when you run a giveaway, you can do them in a few different ways. So you can do follower giveaways or you can do buyers giveaways. Follower giveaways, people have to follow you. They have to click the follow button to be able to enter that giveaway. Now, only one person will win it, and it'll run for 5 minutes at a time. So during them 5 minutes, promote your other shows, tell people to bookmark, schedule, things like that, and let that item run for its due course for 5 minutes. But with that item, try and get it so it'll fit in a large letter. Now this is a bonus tip for you again. If it'll fit in a large letter, you'll get reduced postage. So in the UK, the difference is between £2.70 for a large letter and £3.35 or £3.39 for a small parcel. And it's literally the difference of it's got to fit between that or that. That is literally the difference in it. So when you're sourcing for your giveaways, I would advise getting thinner items. We tend to do little trinkets like party games, things like that, little puzzle balls, little books, things like that we do in our giveaways. Little Sarah's little fun bags, we call them. We do always show the giveaway on the screen because people will also review your giveaways and things like that. If it's a new buyer, or someone who's new to the show, getting an item from you, if that item is free or whether it's not, they will still get prompted to leave a review. So make sure it is a decent quality item you're doing as well for the giveaways. But it is a tip to do giveaways. Now I know it costs you money. I run on average 10 follower giveaways per show. Now my shows always run for roughly 2 hours. I do stay on for a little bit afterwards to do any requests of anything else in the room. But 2 hours is where we roughly run it out. Now I run 10 follower giveaways in that, and then I tend to do 3 buyers giveaways. Now the buyers giveaways I tend to make a little bit better. I don't tend to put them as large letter size. They are usually a bit bigger items, but you want one real main good buyers giveaway, which will encourage people to buy to get into the buyers giveaway. And through your show, just promote it, just plug it, just let people know that you are doing a buyer's giveaway at the end. Make sure you run it though as well, and you do have to set them up before you start the show. Otherwise you'll have all sorts of chaos trying to set up a buyer's giveaway during the show. I don't actually think you can do that. You can insert followers giveaways during the show, but what I tend to do is I set up 100 generic Sarah's goodie bag giveaways, and before each show I'll move 10 to 15 of them into the show profile. So you can do that on the Whatnot tab. You can just go in and you can incorporate from the, it will be an inactive listing on your shows when you're going to move from your inventory so far. It'll be an inactive listing, but just go in there and all the ones that you've already set up will be in there. Easy to do. Followers then will click on, get notified of your shows going live in the future. And you'll also get that little bit of interaction as well. So it's always good to do giveaways in my opinion, although there is some controversy about that. So leave any comments in the comments section of anything that you think, experience you've had, what you think of giveaways, let me know. But I'd just like to say at this point that these things do take me time to do. So if you would leave a like, I would very much appreciate it. If you do want more hints and tips, check out the past videos we've done. We've also got a playlist on there of day in the life of a full-time reseller. I will be doing more videos, but I really do appreciate the subscribes and the comments, and especially the like button. There is also in the description a link to my Whatnot, which you can follow along on. It is, I will get a kickback from it, so that's just a disclaimer for you. But let's get into what I think is the best tip, tip 5. Setup and preparation. Now, setup and preparation is a major part of any show. Now, if you can get it nailed early on in the journey, then that's fantastic. So many people who've been in the show, I know a lot of regulars do view these videos on the channel. We have got a big Discord community as well, which you're welcome to join, which is also linked in the Discord. But we'll know that this room has took a major change over the last 8 months. I've incorporated about 8 or 9 different units that I use for different things, and I set it up as different ways. It is known as the room of requirement. I actually have a big sign on my Hot Wheels track that is the room of requirement. What I'm suggesting and what I'm saying in this aspect is there are a lot of ways you can set up a show, especially early on. Now, a lot of people early on don't want to face the camera as I'm doing now. So you can do it a different way. You can be behind the camera with your lens pointing to what the item is. Or in our case, we have a table called Spinderella, which is basically a spinning wheel and it's got a mirror on it, but it looks quite pretty. But when you're setting up for things like that, I am going back to basics here. So any experienced people will also probably back me up in the comments on this. But your backdrop, make it interesting. People don't really want to see a blank wall. They don't necessarily want to see all the stock either, because if there's items, some of these are my personal collection, especially the Pop Funkos like the Alice in Wonderland and things like that, because I do have a daughter named Alice, as a lot of you don't know. So I do keep them, but I don't tend to put that on my display during the show, because people will ask me to run it, and I'll have to keep disappointing them saying, sorry, that's my own collection. Sorry, that's my own collection. At the end of a show, I will give people the show around, but I do have a display set up all the time during the show. Now, a lot of it is minifigures, things like that. I've currently got a Hot Wheels track set up, which is a little bit crazy, but because we're in quarter 4, I've set up 2 units. Now, in my experience, and a lot of resellers I think may back me up on this, getting 2 units, say for instance like this backdrop behind me, getting 2 units, if they were all empty, which I have to my right now, if you've seen our shows, they're the ones I use, you can then fill these with the items that you'd like to run. Now, the reason I say 2 units is because during a Whatnot show or a live show, your camera is portrait style. So it's not landscape as it is now and you're getting the full thing in. It basically will fit in roughly 2 shelves. You probably won't always get it in depending on how far back you are of the camera. But you do want people to be able to see the items if you're doing a big show like that. So if you're filling that, we tend to run about 100 items we'll do on a Sunday show. 100 items, £1 start, and we see where we go from there. But we've got the opportunity to fill all the units with everything I want to run, and when I'm looking for the next item to run, I can do it really fast because it's behind me. So the reason I say that is, make sure people have got something to look at. If you're expecting people to come in, as we are on a Sunday, for 2 hours, they don't necessarily want to be looking at a blank wall or anything like that. It's good to give them a little something to talk about in the comments, a little thing to ask about. While you're running things, they can be looking at other items, but do move side to side so people can see behind you. You don't necessarily want to block what they're seeing. But definitely, the biggest key is put on a show as well. You have to bring energy, you have to bring confidence in it and things like that, because the camera, they say, takes half of your energy away. So if I was to just sit here with no animation and being very, very dull like this, then you're not really going to sell anything. If you're perky and you want to sell a bus or something like that, it's a random one off my Hot Wheels track, or a duck, because we do duck races, you really got to get into it, show the people what it is, tell them the fun they can have with it. Tell them what it's useful for. It's great at this time of year with Christmas coming up, because you can simply say it's a great stocking filler, be a great gift for someone. So I hope this has been a bit educational for you. I will do more of these, so make sure you're hitting the subscribe. Leave me a comment if there's anything you'd like me to discuss in the future. But I hope them 5 tips have helped you, and good luck with your journey.